Good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice today. Today we will be practicing chair yoga. This will be a 45-minute class. And so what will be essential for today is that you have a chair. So as I take a minute to explain what we'll be doing in class, grab yourself a chair if you don't already have it. Ideally, you want something without any wheels and a chair without armrests. If you can only find a chair with armrests, that's fine, but ideally try and locate one without any armrests. So here I just have a basic folding chair. This works perfectly. Any other chair that has a nice back that we'll be using for twists and for support, and again, no armrests if possible, as well as a towel or a blanket, something to either give you some cushion to sit on, or it will allow us to more safely get into postures, giving us a little more cushion along the way. So those are the two things that are chairs definitely essential for today. And if you have a blanket or a mat, just keep that nearby on your practice space. We don't really need a mat unless you'd like. So as far as today's practice, what we will be doing is focusing on doing poses in our chair. A little bit of movement, a little bit of holding poses, twists, inversions, back bends. We'll hit the whole spectrum, but we are focusing on sitting in our chair. If you'd like, you can always modify these poses to be on your mat or standing poses, postures. A lot of these are modified from those. So if you want to follow along and do your own practice out of your chair, you're more than welcome to do so. I will just be focusing on the poses in the chair today. Okay, so I have your props ready, have your blanket. If you have any blocks or anything, you can keep those nearby as well. Otherwise, before we get started, just want to explain that we're doing chair yoga for a couple different reasons. One, I know I work at the desk for the majority of my day job, and sometimes I just don't want to get out of my chair. I don't want to put on new clothes or switch and get out my whole mat and do an hour-long practice. And so ideally, this will give us some opportunities to even just take a couple minutes out of our day to take a little break, even if we don't want to get up out of our chair, and just move a little bit, give us some options for releasing, for softening, so for breathing, to allow us to get back into our space and continue going. That's one benefit. Also, additionally, this is more accessible for the general population or to those that maybe um, uh, have different capabilities or mobility based on their physical being. So it's very accessible for many others. And I think that's actually one of the keys today. And if you're here as an advanced practitioner, if you're used to working on your mat, maybe you've been practicing for years, and you're wondering why do chair yoga? Well, the accessibility of it is something that allows you to safely explore poses in ways you've never done before. So a lot of times we have the upper body and the lower body in different poses where we have so many different cues to think about. So if we can take the lower body out of the equation, really have it nice and stable on our chair, we can really focus on the upper body, which may not get the attention that it typically needs. That's another benefit. And with it being more accessible, bringing yogis from all different levels together, I think that's great. I think doing something that we can all relate to in each of our own capacities is a great way to connect and to understand others. Okay, we are ready to get started. So again, this will be 45 minutes, a little quicker than most of the classes we have here. Just keep your blanket nearby or you can keep it on your lap. We'll get seated, we'll get started in a seat with a little bit of breath work. So come up, have most of your back on the back of the chair. You can rest your arms wherever they feel most comfortable, palms down or up, or maybe place them in your lap. Eyes can soften or your gaze can close completely. Starting to turn the gaze and the focus internal. Beginning practice with a gentle pranayama breath work called Sama Vritti, or equal parts inhale and exhale. You're welcome to breathe in and out through your nose or your mouth, whatever comes most naturally to you. The idea here is to equalize our inhales and our exhales. So feel free to follow along with my counts or choose your own pace that works for you. Let's begin by exhaling out all the breath out of the body. Exhale everything out. And let's begin. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. In, 3, 2, 1. X, 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 3, 2, 1. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. In, X. In, X. In, X. 3 more. In, X. In, X. Last one here. Inhale, exhale. And return to normal breathing. If your eyes were closed, you can gently start to blink your eyes open. And release your arms down to your sides. Beginning with the shoulders. Let's inhale as we raise the shoulders up. So keep the arms nice and long. Bring the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale, slowly release the shoulders down. So inhale as we bring the arms up. And exhale, shoulders down. If you have your arm rest, just keep your arms out to the side. And do the same thing. Inhaling as we bring our shoulders up. Exhale, release them down. One more time. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, release them down. And with your arms nice and long, inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Let's keep them overhead, palms face each other. And same thing with their shoulders. So inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, release the shoulders down. So your arms stay nice and long, fingertips to the sky. Inhale as the shoulders come up. Exhale, shoulders down. They might not move too much, but it's just the action that's important. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale, shoulders up. And exhale, shoulders down. All right, release the hands down through center and down to the sides. Keep your left hand underneath the left side of the chair. Inhale as you bring the right arm up overhead, palm faces in. Inhale as you lengthen through the spine. And exhale, side bend over the left side. We're staying here for a couple breaths. Now, notice if you typically have done your side bend while you're seated, I usually say to keep both sit bones rooted. So now that we're in our chair, you can really feel if your sit bone's starting to come up. See if you can press that right sit bone back down. So you're equally pressing down through both sides of your pelvis here. Let's inhale as we come back to center. And exhale, release that right arm down. Other side. So inhale as the left arm comes up, right arm stays wrapped under. Take a nice inhale. And exhale, side bend right side this time. So same thing, try to keep that left sit bone rooted. Really, you can use your right arm that's curled under to keep you stable here. A little bit of a lever. Bicep next to ear. Pressing down through both sides. Hold for one more breath. And inhale back to center. Bring both arms overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. A little bit for the neck. So have both arms wrapped underneath your chair. I need some neck work here. So try to keep your spine nice and long. Your back is still up against the back of your chair. And gently release your chin down to your chest. Just hold here for a couple of breaths, trying to add a little bit of a stretch in the back of the neck. So with your chin curled, maybe try to add a little bit of length in that cervical spine area. Okay, adding rotation. So keeping your chin down, let's roll our right ear towards our right shoulder. Chin is still down. Now we start to raise our chin up as the back of the head falls back. Neck is still engaged, but now the gaze comes up towards the sky as you roll towards center. Now your left ear drops towards your left shoulder and let your chin gently fall down back to center where we started. Keep moving that same way one more time. So nice and slowly as your chin comes along, right ear, right shoulder, gently letting your head fall back. Neck still engaged as you come through center, gazing up. Left ear, left shoulder, gently letting your chin fall down. And this time pause when you come to the center. We'll switch opposite direction. Starting with the chin down, left ear, left shoulder. Gently letting the head fall back as the gaze comes towards the sky. Moving through center, right ear, right shoulder. Letting the chin fall down through center. And keep moving same direction. So with the chin down, left ear, left shoulder. Nice and slow here. Let the head gently fall back. Keep the neck engaged as you come through center, gazing up. Right ear, right shoulder, chin falls down. Coming through center, pause here again with your chin tucked, spine nice and long. Then gently lift your neck back up, chin parallel to the mat. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, extend your arms out to a side. Let's come into a field goal shape. You may have been here before, adding a little twist here. Try to keep your arms and your elbows up to shoulder height, but soften your shoulders down away from the ears. Draw the navel in and up. Nice engaged core here, adding a twist. So inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, twist to your right, just to your capacity. Inhale as you lengthen. And exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. And exhale, left. Two more times. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. One more side. Inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale. And exhale, left. Coming back to center, release your arms back down to the sides. Okay, have a nice steady grip here again. Both arms tucked underneath your chair or around your armrest. Now, let's take our feet this time. And what you'll do is gently, depending on the size of your chair, this is where if you have a mat or a blanket to elevate yourself, it may help a little bit. So if you do have something to sit on, even a pillow could help for this next little stretch here. So I'm giving my seat a little bit of height here. What I'm doing is bending my right knee, placing my foot underneath my chair, bringing my toes to the mat. So drawing my left knee up, doing the same thing, bringing my toes to the mat or to the ground or to the grass here is what I have. It's a little bit of the top of the foot stretch here. Just have your arms tucked underneath your chair or around your armrest just to keep your arms engaged here. Still want a nice long spine. But just go to your capacity where you start to feel this in the top of your feet, maybe the top of the toes. You can have a gentle press down into the mat. Hold for one more breath. Okay, gently start to release. Bring your feet back out in front of you. Knees and feet hips width distance. Place your hands on your thighs. Begin to march here. So raise right leg up, raise the left leg up. So start to march one leg and then the other. Start to get the blood flowing a little bit, adding a little bit of heat here. And now you can move on your pace. So if you want to pick up the pace a little bit or want to do it nice and slow, just beginning to bring the legs into the mix here. It's easy to let your shoulders and your back sink here. So keep a nice long spine, shoulders back and down, core is engaged in and up. Yeah. Do this for 3 more breaths. Last breath here. Okay, begin to slow, release your feet back down to the mat. Okay, wrapping your arms underneath your chair again. This time, extend and straighten your left leg straight out. Flex the toes. So we're drawing the left toes back towards our face. Spin this inner left thigh in and down towards the mat. And again, root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head, broaden through the collarbones. Try to draw these frontal hip bones up to these front bottom ribs. And really drawing the tailbone down towards the ground. Maybe you lift a little bit higher. And exhale, gently release other leg. So extending the right leg straight out, flexing the toes, drawing them back toward your face. Try to spin this inner right thigh in and down, keeping the knee facing up towards the sky. Again, nice long spine here. Hold for 1 more breath. And exhale, gently release. 1 more time, each leg. This time we'll point. So extending the left leg straight out. This time, point your toes. Same thing, still spinning this inner left thigh in and down. I know my leg's shaking, so it's getting some work here. Hold for 1 more breath. Gently release, other side. So extend the right leg straight, point the toes, spin this inner left thigh in and down. Holding here for 2 breaths. 1 more breath. All right, and gently release. Okay, place your hands at your hips this time. Keep your right leg forward. Let's open the left leg out to the side, just to your capacity. With the left leg opened out to the side, place your left hand on that left thigh. And inhale as you raise the right arm up to the sky. Add a side bend here with our legs open here. So on your inhale, raise those right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, side bend over that left knee this time. Notice how this might feel a little bit different from when your legs were closer together in the beginning. Just try to avoid crunching in these low ribs. So really open out. Try and find space between each rib. Send your breath there. On your next inhale, let's raise both arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center. Bring that left knee back into center. Other side. So opening the right leg out to the side. Releasing the right hand down to the right thigh. Inhale as you bring the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, side bend over that right side. Holding here for a couple breaths. With your feet firmly planted, make sure you're pressing down through your feet. Bicep next to ear. Create space between each rib. Hold for 1 more breath. And let's inhale, come back to center, both arms overhead. Exhale, release the hands, bring the knee back into center. Okay, this time I'm just going to turn my chair so you can see me. Come towards the front edge of your chair. Make sure your feet are firmly rooted. Knees and feet are hips width distance. So towards the front edge, just so you have some space behind you. Now extend your arms behind you and clasp your fingertips if you can. If you can't clasp your fingertips, you can grab opposite elbows, or you can place your hands to your low back. Opening up the shoulders here. So let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And if your hands are clasped, bring the wrist to touch and extend the arms. Try to straighten them. Maybe you lift a little bit up off your back. Either way, if you're grabbing your elbows or your hands are on your low back, just trying to open up those shoulders, broaden through the collarbones, but reduce this big arch in your back. So draw the navel in and up. Holding here for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Stay at the front of your chair. We'll do that one more time. So with the arms extended behind, switch whichever thumb is on top, or switch whichever elbow or forearm is on top if you're grabbing your elbows, or keep placing your hands at the back of your low back, fingers down, pinkies touching. So whatever option you choose, roll those shoulders up and back, draw the navel in and up. Try to keep your wrists together as you straighten your arms. Draw the navel in and up. Shoulders still soften down away from your back. Feet are firmly planted. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Okay, stay at the front of your chair. Placing your hands on your thighs, adding a cow-cat in our seat here. So make sure your feet and knees are hip width distance. On your inhale, add your cow. Send your heart forward. Shoulders draw back. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the sky. Exhale, round the back. Shoulders separate. Chin comes to chest. So keep moving. Inhale as you send your heart forward, looking up to the sky. Shoulder blades draw together. And exhale, rounding the back. Shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. So keep moving on your breath, knowing that it's so essential in yoga to connect the breath to the movement. It's a way to focus our energy internally, allow ourselves to observe without judgment. Okay, after your last cat pose, meet me back in a nice neutral spine here. Okay, moving through some sun salutations, beginning seated here. So make sure you're still towards the front of your mat, knees over your ankles, arms down to your sides, palms face forward. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, still nice long spine here. So on your inhale, bring the arms up overhead, palms face each other. And on your exhale, hinge forward, chest to thighs, release your arms down to the mat or to the grass, wherever you are. Now on your inhale, lift up halfway, bring your hands just to the tops of your thighs, looking for a nice long spine here. And on your exhale, gently release back down into your forward fold. Make sure you're pressing down through all four corners of the feet. And on your inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the side. Let's do that 2 more times. 1 breath, 1 movement. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, chest to thighs, release the arms down. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, gently release. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up, overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the side. Once more, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Okay, nice job. Now we're coming up out of our chair. So, lifting up out of your chair, keep your blanket nearby. And if you are bound to your chair and you're unable to get up, that's fine. You can still continue practice. You can either repeat what we've been doing, or I'll show you modifications along the way. Okay, first modification I want to show us is a downward dog modification. So start with your hands at the top of your the chair, the back of the chair. With your feet hips width distance, begin to start to walk your feet back. And so as you walk back, your arms start to extend and stay nice and long. Your head comes in between your arms. Try to keep your feet and your heels parallel so that your heels are behind your center toes. You already probably start to feel this in your shoulders. but you're just moving back to your capacity. So maybe you're not quite back as far, or maybe you can go back a little more. Hips might be over the heels, or you might be a little bit farther back. Again, just go to your capacity, play around with it. Obviously, you can modify if you're on your mat to your downward dog, but if you're in your seat, just add a forward fold here. So your arms will come up, and just like we had before, resting your chest on your thighs, just try to extend your arms out to your capacity. Really firm those outer upper arms in, pressing down through all four corners of the feet wherever you are, keeping you nice and stable. If you can, let your head hang heavy, chin slightly tucked in towards the chest. Let's hold here for one more breath. Now inhale, gently start to lift your head up, lift your chest up, walk your feet back into your chair if you're standing. All right, just a little modification there. You can always, if you felt like you needed a little bit more of a stretch, you can advance by using the base of your chair instead of the back of the chair. Since it's a little bit lower, it could be a little more of an intense stretch here. Now, come back to a nice seat. Keep your blanket nearby. And this time we're opening up into Warrior One modifications or high lunge. So the way this will work is come towards the top of your seat. So make sure you have space behind you. And open your right leg out to the right side, just like we've done before. But this time we're turning our shoulders to face that right knee. So as you turn your shoulder here, your left knee is going to face that right side as well. What we'll do is extend our left leg back. So you can see how we're setting up for this lunge that's supported. You make sure you can still see me all the way here. So with my right knee forward, my left knee back, my toes are still facing all the one direction. Same as my shoulders, same as my hips. So again, make sure you're towards the front of your chair here. So that really your right thigh, your right sit bone is the only thing on the chair. Now you can already probably feel this, keeping your hands to your hips. If you'd like, you can extend that left leg back maybe a little bit farther, beginning to straighten the leg. We want to avoid a big arch in our back, so try to draw the tailbone down, lift these frontal hip points up. Staying right here or bringing your hands to the center of your chest, or maybe lifting your arms up overhead, palms face each other. Really press down through your feet. Draw this right hip back and this left thigh forward. Holding here for 2 slow, deep breaths. Pressing that left heel back and down. Right knee tracks over that right ankle. Hold for one more breath. Exhale, release the hands down to your hips. Start by slowly drawing this left knee up to meet the right, and then circle back to center as we switch to the other side. Okay, so opening the left knee out to the side, turning your hips and your shoulders, and then extending your right leg back. With those, keeping those right toes curled under, just settle in here first. Try to keep just your left sit bone on the front of the chair. And if you'd like, you can begin to straighten that back leg. Notice how with the support under your left sit bone, it allows you to really focus on other areas that you may be straining or stressing before you may not have the time to normally observe. So take the opportunity to observe, see how it feels, make sure both toes are facing forward. Hips and shoulders are squared forward as well, I should say, well, towards the left side. Everything's facing one way. Make sure that that right heel's behind those right toes. And draw the tailbone down, lift the frontal hip bones up. And as you do that, draw the left hip back and the right hip forward, more so squaring the pelvis and the shoulders forward. You can keep your hands at your hips here, or bring your hands into the center of your chest, or maybe the arms come up overhead, palms face each other, soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Hold here for 2 slow, deep breaths. One more breath. And exhale, gently release the hands down, release the arms down. Bring your right knee slowly up to the left and gently start to come back to center. Okay, we're lifting up out of our chair again. So lifting up, we're coming to face the back of the chair so that it's in front of us. I'll show you the modification if you're still seated in a moment. So working on our chair pose. So chair pose you may be familiar with. If not, the balancing pose. And with it being balancing, a lot of times in order for us to advance, our balance can be hindering us from advancing. So while it is good to practice without the chair, sometimes it's fun to practice with a chair or a wall just to see how far you can go. So start on the left side of your chair with your right arm on the chair. We'll be balancing in our right foot. So bend the left knee up into your chest and then open the left thigh out to the side. Shoulders are still squared forward. Keep your right hand on that chair and then bring the bottom of that right foot into your left foot into your right thigh, or maybe you keep the toes on the ground. But if you're one that typically keeps the toes on, this is an opportunity to advance. So maybe since you have that balance, you can raise that foot up a little bit higher than normal. Either way, we're still drawing the navel in and up, releasing the tailbone down towards the heels, softening the shoulders away from the ears. You can always bring your left arm up overhead if you'd like. And then maybe with the support of the chair, you can take your right arm off for a couple seconds, bring it back, play around with it, see what works for you. So keep holding that for a couple deep breaths. If you're seated here, you can add your arm variations. So you can bring your hands to the center of your chest. You can bring your arms up overhead. And then whatever variation you choose, lifting up your left foot and opening out to the left side. This is your option if you're still seated here. Let's hold for 2 breaths wherever you are. And exhale, gently release, moving to the other side. So I'll move to the left side of my chair with my left hand to the back, shifting weight into my left foot, bringing my right knee up, opening out to the side, and then choosing whatever option works for you, wherever you want to place the bottom of that right foot. Just try not to press it too much into that left knee. Starting with your right hand at your right hip, or maybe you bring your right arm up, overhead, arm nice and long, palm faces in. Really draw that tailbone down, press down into the bottom of that left foot, keep you nice and stable. And even here, you're spinning this left thigh in and back. Softening the shoulders down away from the ears. Again, play around with lifting that left arm up, placing it back down. Maybe you lift the right foot up a little bit higher off the ground. Stay for 2 more breaths again if you're in your seat. Choose whatever arm variation you'd like, and then rotate your right foot out to the side, and then lift it up off the mat. Really draw the navel in and up. Hold for 1 more breath. And exhale, gently release. Coming back to the front of your chair. Actually, no, let's stay up. Let's do 1 more while we're standing here. Okay, so if you have your blanket, this is where it will become nice. Fold it up nicely, just so you have a little bit of cushion, and you'll place it on the top of the back of the chair. So you may be familiar with our wide-legged forward fold, so this is an option, a modification here. So make sure your chair is nice and stable, and come to the back of the chair and separate your legs out wide enough so that basically your hip points, those bony protrusions, come about to the top of the chair here. With your legs wide, have your feet nice and parallel, so your heels are still behind your center toes. Now inhale as you bring your arms up overhead, and exhale, hands down through center. Release your hands to the chair, and inhale as you bring your chest up to the sky, and exhale, gently start to forward fold. So again, use the chair. This might feel a little different. Make sure also your toes are lined up with like the back of the chair in the same line here, and gently start to forward fold just to your capacity. You may only come down halfway. You might be able to release your arms down and come a little bit further. If it feels a little different on your hips, a little too intense here, you can lift back up, maybe adjust, and then come back down. Maybe bring your legs in a little closer or a little bit farther. See what works for you. But as you come down, maybe your fingertips come to the ground or to the mat. Keeping your feet nice and parallel here. You're still firming the thighs in towards the midline and letting your head gently tuck your chin towards your chest. Just a variation on our Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Maybe you can walk your legs out. Walk your arms out. Keep your legs nice and stable. And start to shift a little more of the weight into the toes if you can. Now, option if you're still on your chair, in your seat, what you'll do is you'll separate both legs out as wide as possible. And then if you'd like, you can start to straighten the legs. You don't have to keep your knees directly over your heels. You can straighten them a little bit. And then inhale as you bring your arms up overhead. And then exhale your forward fold this way. So whatever variation you're choosing, stay for 3 slow, deep breaths. Last breath here. And then gently start to walk your hands into the chair, lifting your chest up. Lifting back up, stay in your seat if you're already there. Otherwise, come back, take a seat. Okay, you can bring your back towards the back of the chair again, and adding a little bit of a hip opener. So draw the right knee into your chest and place the outside of that right ankle on top of the left knee. Now, if you want to advance this a little more and you have a block, you can place it underneath your left foot. That will raise your left foot up, add a little bit of a more intense stretch here. So you can place a block or a book underneath or place your blanket under there. I'll just be staying right here for today. So once your ankle's on top of the knee, make sure you're flexing those right toes. Place your right hand on your right thigh. And you can give it a gentle press, extending your right thigh, not the knee, but the thigh. We're really trying to open and rotate out from that femur where it meets the hip socket. Make sure the left knee still stays on top of the left ankle. Again, root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. If you want to advance, you can press down through your toes and lift your heel up off the block or the mat, the grass, whatever you're using today. Hold here for 2 slow, deep breaths. And final option, you can either stay here for 3 more breaths, or if you'd like, add your forward fold. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, send your heart forward, release your arms down. Maybe start to feel this a little bit more. Again, if this is too intense, just lift yourself back up, come back to right where you were before. Otherwise, let your arms hang down, chin slightly tucks, but keep your spine nice and long. Hold for 1 more breath. And inhale, gently lift yourself back up. Release the right ankle down, right foot comes down. Make sure your feet are hips width distance. We'll switch to the other side. So I'll lift my left knee up, open out to the side, left ankle on top of that right knee. And again, option 1 is just to stay right here. If you have a block or something to elevate that right foot, you can place it underneath just to bring it up a little higher. Final option, if you'd like, once that right foot is nice and stable, you can press down through the ball of the right foot and lift the right heel off the mat, lifting up a little bit higher. Gently using this left hand to press the left thigh away, but keeping the left toes flexed so they draw back towards that left knee. Spine is nice and long, shoulders soften down. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. 1 more inhale and exhale. Okay, so option to stay here, or we have 3 breaths in our forward fold. So inhale as you bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, release your arms down, Slight tuck of the chin, but keep your spine nice and long. Allow yourself to just fall into whatever variation you're choosing. Taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths here. One more breath. And gently lift yourself back up. Release your arms down. Release that left ankle. Left foot comes back down to the mat. Okay. So, coming towards the top of your chair again, adding a little back bend. So, previously we grabbed our arms behind our chest, either clasping our fingers or grabbing opposite elbows. You can repeat that if you'd like, or an option to advance is when you're at the top of your chair here, placing the arms behind you so that the fingertips face away and palms come to the mat. That's already starting to open up the shoulders. Make sure your knees and your feet are hips width distance, knees over the heels. Now really press down through the feet, roll the shoulders up and back, adding a little bit of a camel variation. So take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Maybe start to send your heart towards the sky as you gently let your head fall back. Draw the elbows in towards each other. Really press the hands down into your seat. Your knees might start to separate, so try to keep them hips width distance by spinning the inner thighs in and down. And really lift up out of your hips. Try to keep a nice long spine. Maybe you allow your head to drop all the way back, but keep your neck slightly engaged. Just go to your capacity. Hold for one more breath. And gently and slowly start to lift yourself back up. Bring your arms back down to your sides. All right. Now coming at this at an angle now. So right now I'm facing forward. What I'm going to do is rotate 45 degrees to my right. So I'm 45 degrees angled to my chair. Holding a twist here. So inhale as you bring your right arm up overhead. And exhale, open to the right side and grab the back of your chair if you can. Now left arm comes across, grabs the back of the chair as well. If you can't quite reach, then what you'll do is you'll reduce that angle. So maybe you come to 90 degrees, open up, grab your chair here. And if 45 degrees isn't enough for you, you can come back to center and maybe open up this way. So find what works for you. What you want to maintain is a nice long spine. And with your hands on the back of the chair, you can gently use your left hand to pull and your right arm to push. Just make sure that doesn't compromise the spine. So we still want to press down through our pelvis and inhale as you lift up out of the chest through the crown of the head. Your neck is always the last thing to turn here in your twists. So maybe the neck starts to look over that right shoulder. Really keep pressing down through your feet. Keep your foundation nice and stable here. Holding for one more breath. And gently release. Hola. 1 minute. I'm on. You can come over here. You can come across. Thank you. Good day. Okay, last little twist here. That is Christina who helps take care of the place here. Okay, so releasing back to center, coming back to finding your angle again. It might be different on either side of your body. So choosing whatever works for you on the left side this time. So inhale as you bring your left arm up overhead. Exhale, twist from the navel up. Left arm grabs the back of the chair. Right arm grabs the back of the chair as well. Again, adjust your angle so that it's a challenge, but it's also comfortable. Really pressing down through your feet, keeping them hips width distance. And inhale as you lengthen up through your spine, and then use your exhales to twist. Inhale as you lengthen, and exhale, twist. Maybe start to turn your neck to look over that left shoulder. And use your right arm to pull and your left arm to gently push. Just make sure your spine is still nice and long. Let's hold here for 2 more deep breaths. And gently release back to center. All right, coming back to center, wrapping up practice here in your variation of Shavasana. If you're seated, you can stay right here, releasing your palms on top of your thighs and moving back so that the back of the chair comes to your back as well. Other variations, if you'd like, if you have a mat or a space you're comfortable sitting down on, a nice legs up the wall variation. If you place your blanket on top of your chair, you can come down onto the ground and bring your feet up onto your chair, lying down on your back here. That's also another variation if you'd like. Or if you do have your mat and just want to choose your traditional Shavasana lying on your back, just choose whatever calls out to you today. Either way, start to soften your body into whatever is grounding you today. Allowing your eyes to soften, or maybe your gaze closes completely. Keep taking nice long inhales and slow, deep exhales. Notice any last little bit of tension in your body. Send your breath there to soften. Now, wherever you are, start to bring some awareness back into your body. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Can rotate your wrists and your ankles. Switch directions in those rotations. Come back to stillness for one last breath here. If you're seated, stay right where you are, and if you're on the ground, gently draw your knees into your chest and slowly roll over to one side of your body. Take one more breath here if you're on your side. And then use your top arm to press yourself up. Let's all find a comfortable seat either on our chair or on our mat. Once you find your comfortable seat, rest your palms on tops of your knees, Palms can face up, or you can bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you for joining me for your practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me for practice today. I appreciate you being open to trying something new with the chair yoga. It's nice to mix things up and to give people in other populations and just general audience an ability to accessibly access yoga. So I want to thank you all very much. This is the last week of the fundraising that we've been doing this month, and I'm very grateful for all of the donations that have come in through for the nonprofit CAAP, which helps to raise awareness and support for people in disadvantaged communities that either have mental or physical capabilities that are different from the general population. So they're a really great organization, and I'm so glad everyone's donated so far. So we raised a good amount of money, and this will be the last week. So thank you so much. If you'd like to donate for class, that link is in the video description. And if you have any questions about anything at all yoga related or whatnot, you can find my contact info in the video description. You can leave a comment in the chat here, or there's other ways to reach out to me in the description as well. So thank you all so much. Again, my name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much. Peace.